What's up, gamers? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are working on the Formula V. It's a mess in here. We got a lot of stuff, but what I'm so excited about is we're going to be working on a custom foam seat to replace the crappy one that the previous owner had. I shouldn't say it's crappy. It worked for the previous owner, did not work for me. So I am going to be doing something very, very different. What we have here is a custom foam seat from Totem Racing. And it's really cool how it works because it's all self-contained. It's a two-part foam, but what's awesome is the fact that it is all contained. We're not gonna have to deal with any of the foam itself. We just combine the two pouches in the middle of it and then let it expand. And then it'll expand into this fire retardant material, which is gonna be really cool. So we actually ordered one previously, and you can see that it exploded upon shipping, which was really unfortunate. But I wanted to shout out Pegasus Racing because they sent a new one and they sent it in 2-day shipping. So really happy about that. Big shout out to them for making that happen. So the first thing we're gonna do, we've got some cardboard here and we're just gonna place it on the sides just to cover it off and make sure that when the seat does expand, it's not going into any places we don't want it to. We just want it to be in this slot. All right, we got the cardboard in, so it's gonna be able to protect from foam coming out the sides, or just expanding to the sides, I should say. I kept the shifter in there too, so that way when we are test fitting everything, I can still reach for it and make sure I like where it's at. Definitely had to put more pressure than I thought to break the seal. But I feel it heating up, so that means it's doing its thing. Oh yeah, here we go. Alright, now we're going to set it in. Alright, so you can probably tell, but if you can't, I am sitting a lot higher up than I wanted, and that's probably because I ordered the large. The large is meant for smaller drivers, and I was under the assumption that I was one, so I guess I'm not, but I'm holding still for 15 minutes, gonna let it sit around me. I know this is definitely not good. We tried putting the helmet on and it definitely sticks over the point from here to the top, which means if there was a crash, my head would definitely hit things. So what we're gonna do is when it's all dry and all good to go, at least we know that the seating position is good, but we'll shave the bottom part so that way I can sit lower in. Hopefully that will do the trick, but this is definitely good to know. I got the LMP4 slash F4 kit, and I got the large. If you're trying to do Formula V or any smaller cockpit like this, I'm 5'8", I weigh around 160 pounds. You probably want to do a medium so it's less foam, but at least we should be able to shave it down, which is better than not having enough. So it's interesting, but yeah, so we'll wait for now and we'll see what happens. All right, so we got it. We're out. Now we gotta wait Yeah, it's for an additional hour?
Yes.
So 5:10, 5:15-ish. So it's very weird how it works. But it's cool. So just gotta figure out exactly what I need to do. I'm gonna have to just shave the bottom, I think, because now that the top part is formed to my body correctly, just gotta get the rest sorted. So it's gonna be interesting for sure. Nothing ever goes smoothly with me, but hopefully we just shave the bottom. That should be as easy as that. I say that now though, because we'll see if there's other issues that come up later. All right, so it's been an hour. Definitely interesting how hard it gets. Really, really interesting. And I thought this was kind of weird seeing these grooves and stuff. I assume it's just because of like my shoulder blades and stuff, but you know, it formed to my body, so whatever's comfortable. It'll be interesting. So we're gonna take it out and try and just shave the under part so that it can be sitting lower in, and fingers crossed that it'll work out. So something I'm definitely gonna do is take note of where the lat belt is, because I want to make sure that if I am gonna cut holes or anything, which I guess maybe what I'll do is end up just cutting this whole part. I gotta decide. I need to make sure that it's at the correct angle, that it's gonna be eligible for racing and, you know, holds me in the correct way. What was that? Yeah. I'm getting the car all ready for, I've got my first race coming up in 2 weeks. Yeah, this one. There, you can come take a look at one. I'm actually, it's pretty cool. I just put in this is a custom foam seat that I just molded to my body, and so I'm trying to pull it out. It's just kind of stuck in here because I gotta pull it out and then cut it up and make it fit, but it's perfectly formed to.
So you assembled your own?
No. So it's like a spec series, so every car is like built exactly the same.
Okay.
And so like that's like the body work and all that, so it's kind of dismantled right now.
Okay,
But
so the cars are the same, it's just like driver's skills.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you, appreciate it.
So that's fine.
Yeah, it's
Be
gonna be
careful
cool.
though.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll try.
Is it dangerous or?
It's racing, yeah. I've got a fire suppression system, and I try and do everything as safe as I can. That's the whole goal. So I will. Thank you, appreciate it. I'm working, more like struggling to get the foam seat out of here. I think the biggest thing is obviously there was so much that filled up the empty space below, which at least when I am able to successfully pull this out, a lot of it, I mean, honestly, I could probably take out like that much. I'm trying to see if I can shave down as much of it as I can, and that should make it to get in and out a lot easier, because the fuel tank is also there. So I need to be able to pull this out and back in really easily, just because it's not going to be something that just sits there and never gets pulled out. So this is going to be an interesting project. All right, so we finally got the seat out, and wow, that was a pain. I had to cut off the top parts by the shoulder, which is good because I was going to cut that anyway. But man, that was such a pain to twist and turn to get out, just because it's just such a tight space. And I mean, if you look at it now, that whole area got filled with the foam. So underneath, there's a ton of parts that I can probably cut off. So I'm going to see if I can now cut like maybe a good chunk of this off. I'm gonna have to really make sure before I cut it, just to make sure it's gonna be good. But the goal is to be still as comfortable as possible with how it's shaped in there, but just have it as low as I can, so that way I'm far enough in to be protected by the roll cage. All right, you can see I very quickly gave up on trying to keep it all on the cardboard. I don't know what I was thinking there, but we got the piece off, so was able to, honestly, I'm actually pretty happy with how I did. It's about as straight as I think I'm gonna be able to get it. So I'm gonna try and place it in. It should be way easier to get in now, and we'll see if that works. If it fits great, if I'm happy with everything, then I can just take the cloth off of that and just use some gaffer tape on the sides to keep it in place. And then, you know, maybe clean up the sides here, but fingers crossed that's all it takes. So let's see. In order to go in, I think we're going to need to do some more trimming, at least on the sides here, maybe around here, so that's going to be a little tricky. We'll make it work. I don't know what my hair is doing. I am a mess. Holy crap. I have been chipping away that last little piece that you saw. Oh my god, that took so many hours. But I think we are finally maybe in a place that is good. This has shaved down so much, and I still need to tape all of it up. There is foam dust everywhere just because of how much I have done, and my god, it's just everywhere. But the biggest thing that I'm trying to look for is that this is fully flat against the fuel cell there. I had to shave down the bottom of this part because I realized that my legs were really sitting high up and getting in the way of the steering wheel. I'm debating cutting it a little bit more just because it's still, I don't know. I'm conflicted on if I should do more or not, because where it's at right now is definitely not bad, but I'm wondering if maybe I should go a little bit more. But we are almost there. I mean, the biggest thing was this. The only other part is obviously finding a spot for the 6-point to go through, and then there's also a spot here where the brake bias is, so I need to be able to access that. Other than that though, once we can clear those parts out, then it's just taping up everything and making it look nice and pretty, which that shouldn't be bad. This part though has definitely been the hardest, just getting it nailed and just really dialing it in. Good thing is, theoretically, this is only something you ever have to do one time just to get it perfect, and then from there, you know, smooth sailing. So just trying to really do my best right now to dial it in as best as I can, so that later I'm not having to go back and adjust it or anything like that. Good stuff here, actually. I realized the reason why my knees, or just my legs in general, felt so high up was because this wasn't getting all the way down, because the brake bias knob was resting on the bottom of it. Or I should say, this was resting on the brake bias knob. So it was kind of like up a little bit like that. I cut a little bit of a slot, which I need to do a little better of a job so I can actually, you know, reach it when I'm in the car. But that made a huge difference, lowered this a ton, and now I have way more leg room with the steering wheel, which is very, very important. So just gonna clean that up a little more so that I can actually reach it. And then I need to figure out placement for the 6-point, and then we are good. All right, it's the next day. and there's just a mess there. So we are gonna get everything cleaned up. Now all we gotta do is just tape up everything. I've got gaffer tape that I'm gonna be using. I'm gonna see if I can reuse any of the cloth that came with the seat itself. So gonna try and get creative there just to patch up everything on the back and make it as clean as possible. Alright, this is probably as good as we're gonna get it. She's all taped up, and we put a lot of the cloth that was on the extra foam. I peeled it off and taped it on the back, which I'm actually pretty happy with because it just saved, you know, extra tape, and I think it allows it to hold a little better. So put a bunch of tape through the 6-point in there, and now all we got to do is put it in and make sure it's all good. So, all right, there's one last thing that we need to check now that we've got the seat in, and that's making sure that when we have a line from the top of the roll bar to right here, that my head does not stick above that straight line. Otherwise, in a crash, I'd be dead. Headrest back here, I hit it with a hammer just to kind of push it back, because I'm hoping that would allow me to have my head sit a little further back, so that way it can have more room under the line. There was a tiny bit of a gap underneath, but I really want to make sure I have as much head clearance as possible. Alright, I took the little head cushion out that was sitting right here. So I'm going to see if that gives me more room. And then if anything, I can use more of this SFI approved roll bar padding. I can just put a little piece of it on the back just to protect the back of the head. So let's take a look. Oh yeah, way better. But what I'm even more excited about is the fact that I'm going to be racing for the first time. I mean, I raced the 24 Hours of Lemons, but this is like my first real legit race. I'm so excited that I'm going to be at Willow Springs International Raceway racing with VARA, which is the Vintage Auto Racing Association. I'm so grateful. Shout out to Jeanette, who was gracious enough to let me race with them. So this is going to be my first race. It's their last race of the season, but this will be a great way to dip my feet in and get ready for next season. The whole 2025 I'm going to be racing, so I'm so excited. This is going to be great. I'm going to be out there that Friday before to do some testing and get everything sorted, so I cannot wait. So cool. So if you guys are going to be out there, come say hi. This is going to be a blast. The cars out there are so cool to watch, and I'm so grateful to be a part of that community. So this has been a bit of a crunch just to get it ready before that race, but I'm very excited to see how it holds up, and I cannot thank you guys enough for all the advice and tips that you guys have been giving me. Shout out to the Formula V Facebook group. You guys are the best. Really appreciate you. And thank you guys so much for following this journey. This has been a long time coming. I'm so excited to be finally racing. So my dreams are coming true, and I'm so grateful, and I'm excited to bring you guys along for the journey. So thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.